Welcome to the distance learning packet. This is for week 5. Here I'm going to be covering the factoring method of the diamond method. I want to explain to you what is factoring. We can start with a standard form of a polynomial. Example would be something like x squared plus 4x minus 12. Then there's going to be this process of call factoring. In that process of factoring, you are now going to get a result of something that looks like this. Plus n plus m. Okay. What you have here are two terms that will multiply together to get this polynomial. So our goal is to go from here to here. In this case, in this problem, once you factor it, it was x plus 6 and it was x minus 2 in this example. I'm going to show you how they got it. I'm not going to go into complete detail. I'm going to show you how to set it up afterwards. So in this case, the first thing that you have to do is isolate what a is, which is going to be 1. Then you are going to isolate a b, which is going to be 4. Then you're going to isolate a c, which is going to be in the constant term. What you have above here is going to be your a times your c term. In this case, it became the number negative 12. Down here, you just have your b, which in this case, it was just 4. Now, to factor it, you have to look for a term here, which is your n, and a term here, which is your m. You need such that n times m will get you equal to your a times your c, which is the top of the diamond. And you also want that your a plus m is going to be equal to your bottom of your diamond, which is your b. In this case, let me show you. How do I make the number 12? Ignore the negative for right now. You could pick the numbers 1 and 12. That will get you 12. You can get 2 and 6. That will get you 12. And you could pick the number 4 and 3. I can write it as 3 over 3, 4. 3 times 4, it gets you 12. Okay? Ignore the negative for right now. Next, we want to do that addition. So 1 plus 12, does that get you that 4? Wrong. Okay, I do that hash around the equal sign because it's incorrect. 2 plus 6, does that get you 4? Actually, it might, because 2 and 6 might if one of them is a negative. Okay, 3 plus 4 cannot be equal to 4. So we want to go back here and we want to see how it can make 4. Well, it can make 4 if I have a negative 2 here. Negative 2 plus 6 gets you that 4. Likewise, if you put the negative 2 on negative 2 times 6 will get you your negative 12. Do you see where the negative comes into play now? So when you plug this in, your answer here is 6. And your other factor here is negative 2. Okay, now you should see where I get x plus 6, which is the left of the diamond, and x minus 2, which is on the right of the diamond. All right, so that is the idea of the factoring method. Notice I started with this polynomial. I did factoring, then I got this as a result. So that is what it means to factor. We are going to set up the diamond method here and going to factor. So we are going to have x squared minus 9x plus 20. Then we are going to do a factoring. And because this is x squared, there are going to be two terms. So you're going to have an x something parentheses and an x something else parentheses. All right. So let's set up our diamond here. And first of all, let's pick our a. Our a is the number in front, which is 1. It's the leading coefficient of the trinomial. Then you have your your b term. B equals to -9. Make sure you include that negative in front. Then you have c, which is going to be your 20. In here, again, it is a times c. So I can write that for you again. A times c. And in this case, it was 1 times 20, so that gets you 20. And the bottom number is just your b. And in this case, it is just -9. Now you select those numbers that multiply to make 20. So n times n is going to try to get us the number 20. So I could pick 1 times 20 gets me 20. 2 times 10 equals to 20. 3, no. What about 4 times 5 gets me 20. This is good. As these two numbers get closer and closer together, you know that there's no more possible factors. Now you want to do the addition, n plus m. That has to be equal to our 9. Okay, ignore the negative for right now. 1 plus 20, can that get you 9 in any way? No. All right, you could go up to 21 or 19. What about 2 plus 10? That can get you 12 or 8. No, so that cannot get you 9. What about 4 and 5? Can that get you -9? Yeah, you can. How? Okay, because remember, this is -9. This has to be negative, and this has to be negative. All right. Likewise, if this is -4 times -5, that can get you our 20. So what we have here is -4 is our first term, and -5 is our second term. So right here, when you write it, it's going to be -4, and it's going to be x -5. Oops. Let me put that in gray. There you go. Started with the polynomial. I factored, diamond method, and I got the terms here. Sometimes you might have the question. Sometimes you might have to pull out a greatest common factor first before you do the diamond method. Please notice that all these, you start with an a which is equal to 1. A equals to 1, a equals to 1. Watch if when I set up this problem. The question, the example here is going to be 4x squared plus 32x plus 28. Notice that in this case, if I set up the diamond and I just went like a is equal to the number in front, which is 4. Then I went b equals to 32, and then I went c equals to 28, because again these are the terms. Then if I set this up, it's going to get really, really large. These numbers 4, 32, and 28 have a number in common. Okay, they have a GCF. So we are going to, first of all, before we factor, so normally we factor, okay, then, or in the verb, it would be factoring. And in the end, it would look something like x parentheses x something, then x something else, correct? But before that, we have to do something called, we have to pull out the GCF. And if you watch the first video, I show you how to find the GCF. So here we're going to find the GCF. Okay, here's the first number, which is 4. So that be equals to 1 times 2 times 2. The number 32 was 1 times 2 times 2, which is 4 times 2, which is 6, times 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. That should be correct. 2 times 2 times 2, 2, 4, 8, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. I have an extra 2 here. Then I had 28. Okay, I had 1 times 2 times 2, which is 4, times 7. Now look at the numbers that they have in common. So you have the number 1 that they have in common. Then you have the number 2 that they have in common. Then, ooh, there's one more pair. And they also have these 2 in common. Okay, then you have that equals to 4. So the GCF here is 4. So there's the step here where you pull out a 4. And what you have left over inside the first term you have left over here is a what? A 1. So you have a 1. And what's left here? X squared. Plus, what do you have here? 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 times 2, 2, 4, 8. Okay, 8. And that's going to be your x. And 28, you're left with a 7. So 7. Notice here it is very simple because you can't actually factor this out. All right. So let's take a look. All right. So we are going to factor. And let's see if we can do that. Let's look at what our A term would be. Our A term here is going to be 1. Our B term here is going to be 8. And our C term here is going to be 7. Let's set up the diamond method. I'm going to bring that over there. The diamond method, 1 times 7, which is just going to be 7. And the bottom is just B, which is just 8. Okay. Find what they multiply into. So 1 times 7 gets you 7. That's it. And 1 plus 8 will get you, 1 plus 7 will get you 8. So this should be as simple as just 1 and 7, which are the factors. So you should put right here plus 1 plus 7. But remember, you pulled out the GCF, so make sure you bring down that 4 as well. So this is the I make that should be in pink. Notice that I brought down the GCF because that's still part of it, and here are the rest of the terms. Okay, but there you go. These are all the notes for week 5, the factoring method called the diamond method.